And welcome back, Nats fans, to another episode of the DoDcast Postgame Show. I'm your host, District on Deck co-editor Ricky Keeler, and what an almost historic moment for Gio Gonzalez. Comes just 3 outs short of a no-hitter in a ballpark that he's very familiar with, grew up near the ballpark. You have Jose Fernandez, the late Jose Fernandez, which would have been his 25th birthday today. His girlfriend was there. His daughter was there. Just one of the best outings that Gio's had in his entire career. Breaking ball was outstanding. Fastball, pretty good. But to get into the ninth inning with a no-hitter, and we purposely didn't make the link so that to give Gio that opportunity. We didn't want to jinx him. But the Nationals get the win 1-0, and Gio gets the win he deserves. It would have been heartbreaking if they had blown this game for him. But we'll get into all Gio's stats. We'll talk about the Nationals' lone run tonight. Their offense, a little bit scuffling, at least so far the last few games. We'll talk about that and Sean Doolittle getting the save in the ninth inning and what that could mean going forward. So feel free to chime in the YouTube chat here or tweet me on Twitter at District on Deck or at Rickinator555. Let's go through the totals. Not a lot of totals tonight. Nationals 1 run, 3 hits, no errors. The Marlins no runs on 2 hits with an error. Gio Gonzalez gets the win. He goes 8 innings, gives up the 1 single to D. Gordon, which against D. Gordon, you could have got an infield hit, but he blooped one in the left center. 5 strikeouts and 3 walks on 106 pitches, 67 strikes. And Jose Urena took the loss. 8 innings, 1 run, 3 hits, 6 strikeouts, 1 walk. Probably one of his better games he's ever thrown. But the hard luck loser, and Sean Doolittle gets the save, his 7th of the season. So let's take a look. And I didn't see this, so thanks, Seth, for pointing it out. Gio was crying when talking to Dan Colco of Masson because it is, like I said, it is Jose Fernandez's would have been Jose Fernandez's 25th birthday today, and you saw the Marlins react in a positive way to Gio Gonzalez. You got Giancarlo Stanton clapping from the on-deck circle, giving him the imaginary fist bump because he didn't pump fists with Gio Gonzalez. But the Marlins are clapping in the dugout. I'm telling you, they are a class organization. You can talk about the owner and talk about different things, but their players, class acts, no question about it. And it would have been, had to be emotional for him. Didn't get a chance to pitch in the All-Star game, but he was good friends with Jose. I mean, remember last year, he took the mound, I think his first start after that against Arizona, and you could tell he was emotional about it, and can't blame him for it. I mean, you lose a friend, it's tough on anybody. So you got to give him a lot of credit. And we talked about it earlier today on the trade deadline podcast. Gio's kind of the difference maker, where if Steven Strasburg comes back and the way Gonzalez is thrown this year, you got 3 really good starters going into any series, and particularly a best of 5. I mean, really all you need in a best of 5 is 3 guys, and Tanner Roark's not a bad 4th guy. So the way he has changed so much this year. And for the good reason, when you have Matt Wieters catching him this year, it's been a difference maker, as Byron Kerr has told us. But he's just mature as a pitcher. And it's great to see that when he does get up a hit, or like example, in the 8th inning, when he hits Miguel Rojas on a 1-2 pitch, he bounces back. Yes, he gets behind Ichiro 3-1, but he got him to fly out. He had a couple of moments tonight where he puts guys on base, but he doesn't let it phase him. I mean, his runners and scoring position stats are so fantastic this year. It's always exciting to watch him pitch. It used to be last couple of years for the wrong reasons, because you never knew when he would have that inning where he'd give up 4 or 5 runs. But outside of a walk tonight to, I believe it was Stanton, a walk to Tyler Moore. I forget who the 3rd walk was to. I want to say that it was Real Muto. No, it wasn't Real Muto. Hold on. It was Yelich. So Stanton, Yelich, and Moore had the walks. Rojas had the hit by pitch. Other than that, he was fantastic. Not a lot of hard hit contact either. It was mostly fly balls. He had great defensive plays. Brian Goodwin, a sliding catch early in the game. Wilmer Difo in 6th. Difo did a nice job. I always skip that. It's Difo, not Difo. Difo. And Gio even made a cool, not a great offensive play. It won't go down as that, but D. Gordon lost the bat on a strike 3, and Gio picks up the bat and pretends to throw the bat out of first base like he's trying to make an out. Bryce Harper nearly lost the ball in the lights in the 8th inning, but he found a way to make the catch. Again, it would have been great for him to get the no-hitter. But it was a good stat by ESPN Stats and Info. He hadn't thrown a complete game since 2013 and only thrown 4 pitches in the 9th inning since. So he was in uncharted waters considering he hadn't done it in a while. And against the top of the order, that if he got through that, it would have been fantastic. Walks or hit by pitches aside. Let's take a look at the chat here. Judo Joker. What's up, Judo? One of the most powerful moments in all of sports was D. Gordon's homer. This was another powerful moment. I remember the Marlins are playing the Mets. I live in New York, so I was watching SNY, and they showed all the festivities pregame, and I cried during that, and it was a very sad moment. And you're right, Judo. Judo was Gio was a great guy too. Glad he has a game like that in class for Miami fans and players. The fans too. I forgot the fans. They were fantastic as well. And Seth, you're right. 2 hours and 12 minutes. Fast game. We kind of needed that today after all the trade deadline stuff that was going on. We thank all of you for following our live thread today and contributing to the DoDcast we did afterwards. You guys are the best. We had a great time doing that show. So this one will be a little quicker than most because we talked a lot earlier. Gio said, my takeaway is Marlins Park is the pitcher's course field. Yeah, the Nats hit the ball hard later in the game. A lot of them went to the track and center field. I think Murphy had one. Sanchez had one. Goodwin hit the ball that went off the wall in dead center for a double. The Marlins Park, while they moved the fences in a little bit, it still plays really tough for hitters, except Giancarlo Stanton because, well, he's superhuman. The key inning here was the 6th. So the Nationals got their lone run of the game. They only had 1 hit through the first 5 innings. Then Brian Goodwin, as I said, started off that 6th inning with a double. And I love the strategy by Wilmer Difo to lay down a sacrifice bunt. I think that's extremely important because the Nats have to play some small ball. I don't think they have not done a good job lately at taking pitches, working the count, and that's going to play against you in your favor down the road. I mean, when you're in the playoffs, you have to win close games with small ball, where you get a single, you steal a base, you get a sacrifice bunt, you get a sac fly, driving a run. You're not going to get a home run every game. I mean, we love the kabooms with this team, but at some point they're going to have to win the small ball way. So if Difo is going to lay down some bunts, I'll take it. Absolutely, I'm going to take it. I don't want him swinging first pitch all the time, though. I think it's something he's got to work on. But he gets Goodwin over to third. Bryce Harper picks up the RBI single in the 6th. Huge hit for him. He'd been struggling the last couple of days. I wonder why Arena pitched to him with Ryan Zimmerman on deck and the base open, but Zimmerman's been great lately, and that could have been the difference, as FP talked about on the telecast. By the way, congrats. Dave Jagler was doing the play-by-play, did a fantastic job on Masson, and our good friend Kevin Brown was doing the play-by-play on the radio with Charlie Slow. So both of them did a fantastic job, I'm sure. Kevin got his own little promotion. And yes, Judo, you did get credit for picking the Kinsler trade. We did talk. But there was a couple of people that told us about that a week ago, and we kind of dismissed them. And we told one, I forget who tweeted it to us, that it's the trade deadline. Things happen. Nobody really expected Kinsler to be available because Minnesota was in it until this week. And then they dealt Jaime Garcia. They got Jaime Garcia, then dealt him to the Yankees, and then dealt Kinsler today. I think we talked about it earlier, but that's a good deal for the Nationals. I think he's that sinker ball pitcher that they can use. I think to me, he replaces Blake Trinan as that sinker ball guy I bring in for double plays. I think Sean Doolittle deserves to be the closer. He did a fantastic job. He got a 5-4-3 double play on Stanton. He did allow Yelich to reach out an infield hit, but he gets Ozuna to pop out. And that's a tough Marlins lineup to navigate. I like their 1 through 6 in the order with Gordon, Stanton, Yelich, Ozuna, Realmuto. So really 1 through 5 because they don't have Justin Bour, who's on the disabled list. But I think that their lineup is a really key moment to go after. So that's what made Gio's, I think, 1, 2, 3, 9 the top. Like I said, his curveball was really good today. I mean, that's really his go-to pitch. When you have the breaking ball working, you get the fastball for strikes. The changeup is solid. Everything is working in your favor. And that's the kind of night that he had. And he gets his 9th win of the season. He really deserves at least 12 to 13. I'm surprised that the win total has been so low for him this year. But like I said, he's turned a corner big time. I also want to give Dusty Baker credit for a couple of things. Number one was bringing Andrew Stevenson for left field for Adam Lind. I like the fact that he put an emphasis on defense. I mean, left field's going to be a tough one with Worthy and come back. I think you still might do that in the playoffs. Not with Stevenson, but let's say with Brian Goodwin. That's always an option. And I like that he took Gio out of the game. And it also shows that Baker trusts these guys. He trusts Sean Doolittle. You trust Ryan Madsen. I think he'll trust Kinsler. I think there are certain guys now that are starting to get into the circle of trust with Baker. There weren't many to begin the year. There's starting to be a little bit more each and every time. Because at the beginning of the season, Gio's probably still out there after that base hit. And maybe the Nats lose that game. But Dusty goes to Doolittle, who, again, outside of a couple of crazy outings, really hasn't blown a game this year. So it's tough for me while Dusty Baker, Mike Rizzo is saying we're going to try different things. I mean, to me, Sean Doolittle is your closer until he screws up. Or until he has a couple of bad games. I know Madsen's throwing 99. He was warming up in the 8th inning tonight. I'll be interested to see how they kind of go about tomorrow or next time they have to use the 7th, 8th, 9th scenario. But to me, Doolittle deserves to keep the job. I mean, he's been great. If Gio would have thrown a no-hitter, would Ron have joined the show? I don't know if Ron's still here, so I would like Ron to answer that if he's around. I would like to think, Seth, he might have made a cameo. Usually with special games or injuries, we try to have as many people on as possible. Ron would track the Twitter me in the chat. I don't know if he's here in the chat. But I'll tell him you said hello and that you asked for him. The Darvish thing was interesting. I think the Dodgers, to me, I still think they're class with everybody else. But right now, I think your worry is about the team you might have to play in the divisional round. That right now looks like the Cubs. There's a lot of baseball left. I think having 3 starters, like I talked about earlier in the NLDS, is going to play a huge factor. If those 3 and Strasburg comes back healthy or elite. Gio's getting close to elite stars, and Ron says yes, he would have joined. So thanks, Ron. Ron's running it from the district account, so I'm glad that he's here. He's going to write something about Gio tomorrow. So we would have had special coverage, especially. We had Drew on standby in case we needed an article. So thanks to Drew. He's always working hard. So the Nationals get the win. They go to 63-41 over their first 104 games. 104 games. I'm doing the right math. Marlins go to 49-55. In this game, like we said, 2 hours and 12 minutes. I love a fast game. So you definitely like to see that. Let's look around the league, and not much going on tonight in the league. Just one game, and that was the Braves and the Phillies, and the Phillies won 7-6. Of course, they traded Joaquin Benoit to the Pirates earlier today. Nick Pivetta, former Nats prospect, got the win. 6 innings, 1 run, 3 hits. He struck out 5. Mike Fulton-Newitz got the loss, gave up 5 runs over 4 innings. Odubel Herrera and Maikel Franco with home runs for the Phillies, and Freddie Freeman, his 19th home run of the season. Of course, tomorrow's the first day of August, so a new series. Braves are home to the Dodgers, and the Mets are in Colorado, as we talked about earlier. They called up shortstop prospect. They're going to call up shortstop prospect Ahmed Rosario. Jose Reyes got hurt in Sunday's game. You would think Rosario's going to get his starts at short, and the Mets really need to see what him and Dom Smith eventually at first base can do for their future. So it'll be exciting to see those two guys get a chance to play. I know living in New York, there's a lot of hype around those two guys. And Rosario, I watched a little bit in the minors. I think he's going to be a good player. To me, it just comes down to how the Mets are able to use him. But I like his defense. I like his hitting ability, his contact ability, and his speed. And I think those are 3 things that'll play well in Rosario's favor. No, Gio's defense we talked about was really good. I like the fact he made some nice plays, especially there was the one in the 7th where he fields the ground ball, nearly turns a double play. Murphy's throw was low, but the defense by Gio was really good too on the mound. I mean, that's been a difference I think for him this year as well. Let's look around the minor leagues. Not much action tonight. Syracuse had the night off. Harrisburg had the night off. So Potomac, the highest affiliate in action tonight, and right now they lead Lynchburg 5-2 in the top half of the 8th inning. Michael Taylor got in a rehab game. His first he got was the DH. He's 0 for 2. Daniel Johnson, another RBI tonight. He's 1 for 4. Ian Sagdahl with a pair of RBIs. He's up to 61 this year. And a great outing for Austin Williams. 8 innings, 1 earned run, 5 hits. Actually, no, hold on. 6 innings, 1 run, 4 hits, 8 strikeouts. I guess there was updated because R.C. Arlon, the reliever, struck out 4. See, I had it open and it said Austin Williams struck out 12. That did not happen. But still a good start for Williams, who's had a rough season. But he's down in Potomac, and definitely I think maybe that's a start in the right direction for him. Let's look at Hagerstown, and this is a night they probably want to forget. The Hickory Crawdads lead the Suns 16-3. That game in the bottom of the 8th inning. Jake Knoll does have a home run, his 13th of the season. Hayden Howard gave up 9 runs, but only one of them were earned. And I'll just say that's minor league baseball for you. When you give up 9 runs, but only 1 is earned, your ERA doesn't get inflated that much. Kyle Simmons in relief, 6 runs, but only 4 were earned. So rough night for the Suns. They haven't had many of those this year, but a couple hits from Telmito Augustine and Aldrin Corridor in this blowout loss, it appears. Auburn tonight taking on State College. The Doubledays were up 2-0, and then everything went bad for them. They're down 7-2. That game in the bottom of the 7th inning. Yathan Ramirez went 5 2/3, gave 3 earned runs on 10 hits. He struck out 1. RBIs from Brandon Baguetto and Nick Perkins. GCL Nats were also off today. I think the one thing you want to keep in mind is Syracuse is in action tomorrow against Pawtucket. The next scheduled starter is A.J. Cole. So if Cole doesn't make that start Tuesday, I think he makes the start for the Nats Wednesday in Miami. So I think that's the most important thing to keep an eye on. The Nationals need a starter because Eric Fetty and Edwin Jackson both pitched yesterday. They can't go on short rest. Fetty's going to likely go when they pitch in Chicago because Steven Strasburg is not going to come off the 10-day DL, at least not yet. So all things considered, they need a starter. They don't really have the depth. They didn't trade for one today, and I don't blame them for not doing it. I think there wasn't many starters trade anyway outside of Gray and Darvish. So you're not paying those exorbitant prices if Steven Strasburg is coming back soon. It just doesn't make a lot of sense. They could always get guys at the waiver wire if necessary. There is an August 31st waiver deadline, so they have a month if somebody clears waivers and they like a player, they can work at a trade there. But for now, I think they're going to go with A.J. Cole. I don't have any sources. I don't have I don't have inside scoops, but that's my guess. My guess is A.J. Cole will pitch Wednesday in Miami, or they go Johnny Holstaff and go with the whole bullpen for the day and with the day off on Thursday. You normally don't do that until you have the 40-man roster because you have more pitchers you can use. So that would be a really tough one. It would take them a while to overcome that if they do. I'm assuming if you don't hear from anybody tonight on that, Dusty will have to reveal it tomorrow. But tonight's all about Gio Gonzalez and deserves to be all about Gio Gonzalez. And emotional night for him. And I'm glad that he had this kind of outing. I mean, he deserves it. And like you said, Bryce Harper is a player that Bryce visited with Jose's girlfriend and daughter today. So classy act by Bryce Harper as well. Seth says Sammy Solis. That's a good point. I think Sammy Solis could be in play. He did pitch on Friday. I don't believe that he pitched at all yet. Actually, I think he did pitch game 1 yesterday. So if you did go with Sammy Solis, it would only really be like 3 innings. If that. But that's not. If they don't call anybody up, you could do that. I just get the feeling that they're going to have to call somebody up, and Cole is on the 40. So you don't have to DFA anybody or make any moves. They DFA Jimmy Cordero today to make room for Brandon Kinsler, who will be with the team tomorrow. So I don't think that they will make a crazy move to get a start over here if it is Cole. And A.J. Cole, last year he had some good moments. He struggled toward the end of the year. He's not had a good year at Syracuse, but right now you just need a guy on Wednesday that can go 5 innings. Whether you piggyback him with Matt Grace, you can do a lot of different things that I think would benefit the Nationals rather than going Johnny Holstaff and working the entire bullpen. But they'll have to make that decision relatively soon. So let's take a look at tomorrow's pitching matchup. It is a 7:10 first pitch. Drew will be with you for the coverage on this game. You catch it on Masson. Max Scherzer gets the ball for the Nationals, 12-5, the 2.23. He goes up against left-hander Chris O'Grady, who's 2-1 with a 3.68. He has not faced the Nationals in his career, but he did have a good outing against the Reds in his last time out. He struck out 5 and didn't give up a run in 7 innings. Scherzer, of course, has been fantastic. He, of course, returns to the scene in Miami where he took a no-hitter in the 8th inning and lost the game. But I would expect vintage Max Scherzer to. He's usually a guy where you go on the mound, you know what you're going to expect when he takes the ball. It's a given. He had a good game against Milwaukee last time, although the Nats gave him a bunch of home runs. 1 run over 6 innings is really good after the rough outing against Arizona. Expect anything less from vintage Max. He has struck out at least 9 batters in 5 straight and in 9 of his last 10. So again, I think 9 strikeouts is the baseline. Anything, do you want to go higher than 9 or lower than 9? But I hate the push. So let's go 9.5, over under 9.5 tomorrow on Max Scherzer strikeouts. Eddie Romero's never started before. Albert Perez is an option too. And I remember, I want to see Albert Perez pitch a little more. And he's struck out a lot. I think it's 9 batters over his last 3 games. So overall, I think there's still options the Nationals could turn to. I just don't think that they're going to make a crazy move. I think it's either A.J. Cole or somebody in the bullpen is going to get a start. Those are your 2 options. We had a lot of good stuff today. Drew had his storylines on the Marlins. I'm not sure he predicted Gio nearly throwing a no-hitter, but hey, nobody predicted that. But you still want to read it. Of course, if you want to read all about the rumors and trades today, we had our trade deadline thread. Ron helped me out today with that. I hope you followed along with it, and if you did, we thank you so much, especially for those of you who listen to the DoDcast for the trade deadline. That'll be up tomorrow. Drew's going to be working on an article about the bullpen roles and what it means for Brandon Kinsler. And Mike Rizzo talked about, so Dusty Baker, that they're gonna experiment some things. You got a 14-game lead, you can experiment whatever you want. It's not a bad option. This is the time where you try different lineups, you try different bullpen combinations, because this is now for a lot of these guys when we get to September, okay, about trying to make the postseason roster, because they're going to have so many hard decisions when Trey Turner comes back, when Jason Worth comes back, when Michael Taylor comes back. Who fills out that bench? You got Kendrick, you got Defoe, you got Goodwin, you have Lind, you have Drew when he comes back. Some of these things will sort themselves out, but even look at the bullpen right now. I mean, Sean Kelly is on a rehab assignment, but right now the Nats bullpen doesn't need Sean Kelly. Coda Glover is even still on his rehab. He hasn't started an official assignment yet, but he's down in Florida trying to get back. And you wonder where Coda would fit in. So there's a lot of difficult decisions that the staff has to make. The interesting thing, I want to talk about Rendon a little bit. I'm glad you brought it up. It's going to get to a point, and I'm not one of those guys that's really crazy about switching the lineup around. I think when Rendon hits 6th, it's not a bad thing. But I would like to see the Nationals, if Defoe's going to keep hitting, but at some point you're going to have to start working these pitchers early in the game. I mean, you saw Marquez took a perfect game into the 6th the other night. John Gray last night, now Arena tonight, where he's not getting up any hits. And I don't know what the approach has been differently with this offense. You can tell they miss the guys that are not in the lineup right now, and they're going to have to really change their approach. I mean, there's nothing wrong with taking some pitches, working the count, fouling some pitches off. It's not easy. I understand that. I'm not trying to harp on the Nationals here, but they need to start getting to these pitchers early. And they're a great road team. And we clearly have seen that all season. That's going to play a factor, I think, in October. But they need to get these starters out of the game early and give Gio some run support. I mean, Gonzalez, you look at his July coming in, he had only 1 win, but a really good ERA. I mean, tonight, if you look at Gio's starts in July, 1 run, 2 runs, 5 runs, no runs, 8 runs, which was the Milwaukee start. And that's when they got all those runs in the 8th inning. And 1 run. They are not scoring runs for Gio Gonzalez. And again, they're not doing it on purpose, but he's been a victim of blown leads by the bullpen and bad run support. He had a 1-3 record coming in tonight with a 2.65 ERA and opponents hitting 187. So that number is going to go down. June it was 175. I mean, it's been fantastic what Gio's done this year. Aaron Judge hit another homer. Yep, that's right. Aaron Judge hit another homer. See, Ron, Seth brings up Yankee points when the Red Sox co-editor isn't here. No, Ron did not take the Red Sox co-editor job. It's just a Red Sox fan. So he'll have more on Gio tomorrow. We have Drew having an article up. Again, we want to thank everybody out there for checking in on all of our coverage today. We definitely appreciate it. You guys are the best. We're excited for the next couple of months. We're going to have some great articles for you coming up. I did an interview today with Daniel Johnson. You'll check on the site maybe later this week at some point. We'll work on that. Johnson, to me, is a really good outfield prospect. Check that out. So a lot to get to. We'll cover everything as we do. And we thank you guys again for tuning in. So from all of us here at District on Deck, congrats again to Gio Gonzalez. Just fantastic. And he deserved it, and I'm glad the fans and the players gave him a nice ovation. And I'm sure Gio's feeling emotional, and everybody's there for him. And I think that's the most important thing. From all of us here at District on Deck, I'm Ricky Keeler, saying hope you have a great rest of your night. And Drew will see you back here tomorrow for It's the Max Scherzer Tuesday against the Miami Marlins. Until then, see you later, everybody.